Brethren, among the many prayers in the Bible that stand as towering monuments of divine assurance, Psalm 91 shines with unparalleled brilliance. It is more than just a prayer. It is a declaration of unwavering faith in the Almighty. In the storms of life, when uncertainty and despair seek to overtake us, this psalm emerges as a stronghold of unshakable trust. It is the refuge of the believer, the sanctuary of the soul, painting a vivid picture of God's protective wings sheltering his people from the arrows of adversity. How vital it is for God's people to hold fast to the promises within this sacred psalm. It calls us to take refuge, trust completely, and overcome fear by resting in the steadfast faithfulness of our Saviour. As we journey through its verses, let us behold the magnitude of God's protection and the depths of His divine care. Oh, beloved, how marvelous it is to know that the Creator of the universe offers His covering to those who abide in Him. The word dwell in this psalm signifies not a brief visit, but a continual habitation in God's presence. It speaks of an abiding relationship, where we remain under His care, not merely seeking Him in times of trouble, but making Him our eternal home. The secret place of the Most High is not hidden from us, but open to all who seek it. It is the dwelling where His presence is manifest in full measure, where His glory fills the space, and His grace is abundant. This sacred refuge is not defined by physical boundaries, but is a spiritual reality, accessible through prayer, worship, and meditation on His Word. There, the soul finds rest, unshaken by life's tempests, untouched by the enemy's attacks. To be under the shadow of the Almighty is to be shielded from the scorching heat of sin and temptation. Just as a weary traveler seeks shelter under the shade of a mighty rock in the desert, so the believer finds protection in the presence of God. The trials of life, the pressures of the world, and the temptations of the flesh cannot reach us when we are hidden beneath His shadow. This is not a mere covering, but a divine barrier that no force, earthly or spiritual, can breach. Can you envision this, dear soul? The image is rich in meaning. When the enemy rises like a flood, when doubts and fears assail us, we have a sanctuary in the power of God. Just as a mother bird shelters her young beneath her wings, so does God cover His children with His mighty hand. When we remain in His presence, we are not exposed to the assaults of the adversary, but are enveloped in divine security. There is no safer place in all the earth. God's protection is not passive, nor limited to physical safety. To be under the shadow of the Almighty means He guards our hearts, our spirits, and our every step. He keeps us from the snares of sin and temptation. When the enemy seeks to weaken us through doubt, fear, or despair, the Lord strengthens and upholds us. Even in the furnace of affliction, He ensures we are not consumed, but refined by His grace. Oh, how sweet it is to dwell in the secret place of the Most High. In that place we find strength, peace, and an unshakable refuge. The storms may rage, but in his shadow we are at rest. No safer haven exists, for to abide in God's presence is to be covered by his divine power and unfailing love. Consider the words of Psalm 91:2. He is my refuge and my fortress. What an incredible assurance! A refuge is a place of safety, a haven in times of distress. Yet this is no ordinary refuge. It is the refuge of the Almighty himself. The psalmist does not point to a temporary or earthly place of security, but to a divine sanctuary, impenetrable by any force. Unlike the fleeting shelters of this world, God's refuge is eternal and unshakable. In him we find perfect peace and security that no enemy can shatter. Just as a traveler seeks safety from the perils of the wilderness, so must we run to the arms of our Saviour. But he is more than just a refuge. He is our fortress. A fortress is not merely a hiding place, but a fortified position of strength, where one can stand firm against attacks. The fortress of God does not waver, nor does it crumble. It is a place where we are equipped to stand against the schemes of the enemy, not in our strength, but in his. The psalmist declares, "In him will I trust." This is the key to our secure absolute trust in God. Trust means surrendering our fears and resting in the assurance that he is able to deliver us from every danger. It is not passive resignation, but active confidence in his protection, preservation, and power. When we trust in him, we step into his divine shelter, where no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Fear is a powerful tool